Slurpty diddly do, my little chickens. I've just thought I'd do a quick little tip for you guys today, and it's very, very simple and easy. Going to keep this under 5 minutes. Well, yeah, maybe even less than that. And all it is a little way you can add in a little base layer to give yourself a little bit more depth or a bit of organic flavour to your bass line. So what I've got is I've got a bass here, which is a bit of a sine wavy thing. Sounds like this. Okay, pretty cool. In context, it's, you know, with a little beat. Okay, and all I'm going to do then is add in this new layer on top of it, which sounds like this. Okay, so it's just going to fill out a bit of the background, give the bass line a bit more depth, but it's not going to overtake it at all. And together, okay, so you'll hear it in the mix, but it's a little bit lower in the mix. But the idea is that it adds just a bit of an edge and a bit of depth to the sound. Okay. Okay, so it's not overtaking with it, not competing with it, just giving it a bit more background. And how have I made it? I've bounced out the exact same bass, and then I've got 3 main effects happening on this layer. And I've got a little bit of EQing and reverb, but that's not super important. It's just kind of tweaking. The first one is ruiner, or any creative distortion, to really just change the harmonics of the sound first. Okay, so distorting that bass a lot, 100%, bit of overdrive and tweaking the other kind of modes here a bit. And once we got that distortion on, so we just got that fully distorted signal, then we're going to reverb it. I'm going to use a tight, short convolution reverb like this one here. Now, it doesn't matter if you go to 100% mix or if you do something a bit more 50-50 or a bit less. Because the harmonics have already been completely changed by the ruiner, so it's not going to phase with the original. So in that case, you know, often I would have gone to 100% to get the harmonics to be different, but they already are quite different, so I'm going to go about 30%. Then we're going to EQ it, and this is the important part because we don't want to layer stuff in too low. So here I've gone up to sort of 300, but that is still a bit, I could probably take out a bit more, but probably go up to about 300 or 400 here. It completely depends on the sound that you're adding to and layering with. You know, it's not the same for every particular sound. Sometimes it'll go up a lot higher, sometimes a little bit lower. And then to give it the final touch, we're going to add a nice filter movement to this layer. So I've gone for a Filter Freak, just ramp down mode, rhythmical 1/4 note, and a nice low pass, and yeah, pretty much going from very, very low up to pretty high, using the modulation amount pretty high up. And it's just going along with the kind of rhythm that was already on my bass line, you know. So I could do a different speed, and maybe that would be a great variation later on. So you've got the layers that sort of split apart from each other. That's a cool thing you could do to give a bit more complexity later. But just to keep it simple for now, just following along with the rhythm, sort of by ear, just adjusting the speed like this. Okay, and that's pretty much it done. And then, like I said, I've just done a couple of like EQ things, just taken out a bit more low end here and there, added a touch of reverb in the high end, another sort of low cut, so quite a lot of low cuts. So it's really more just a high end kind of layer. But then, you know, back in with the original. Can also go ahead and turn it down a bit if I want, a little bit, to blend it back into the background a bit more. And it's a technique I employed on some of my more popular Spotify tracks, like Helpless, for example. I've got these sort of softer basses, just sort of very just simple sine wave created basses. But the reason that they sound a bit more interesting is because I've done similar kind of layering technique here, where I've used, you know, a lot of distortion and a convolution reverb, a bit of a filter movement on the layer, and then EQ'd out most of the low end, turned it down quite a lot, and then you've got this nice little organic background layer to your bass that's made from it, but sounds a bit different, but kind of goes together with it, sits a bit further behind it, and gives you a bit more interesting character and depth to what could otherwise be a too dry or too boring bass timbre. So hopefully that's a helpful little tip for you guys today. Hope you enjoy that. Hope you guys are all getting ready for Christmas and excited for that, because I know I certainly am. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be over in the UK, and I'm going to be I'm still teaching out there in the UK. I'm going to take all my gear with me, and I'll probably try and do a couple of little at least a few little mini tips and tutorials while I'm out there as well. So should be a lot of fun. Also, remember this Friday, the Zugzwang remix competition at 5 p.m. CET. Don't miss it. Even if you haven't participated, it's going to be worth a watch, because we've got some talented boys in the old Patreon. And yeah, can't wait to see what they've come up with. Submissions are already coming in. Definitely got a nice little show planned for Friday. So can't wait to see you guys then. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.